Well, hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome to this here live stream. It's always a pleasure to be here live streaming. I'm going to try to do this once a month, like I've mentioned before, and if I can manage to do that, I will. But this is the live stream for December of this year. I have a few bits and pieces to get through, show off. I can't promise that I'll get through the Yolobox and the Epiphan Pearl Mini in too much detail because those are devices that I've kind of just got and I'm just starting to play with. But otherwise, it'll be nice to have a go at them, see what they're like, and just talk about them in general on the stream, maybe a bit later. If you have any questions that you want to ask, then be sure to throw them in the live chat. If you're watching live, that's great, and be sure to mention @here2record just so I can see them really clearly. Otherwise, I might miss them. And I'll get to those a little bit later as well. I see some people coming in already, which is great. We have tuning in from Toronto, Ontario. That's something I wanted to fix before it was go time. There we go. That looks a little bit better, I think. Let's see what else we have. From Hamburg, Germany, and Hanover in Germany. Yeah, not too far from each other. Oh, here's another person from Germany. That's great. Hello from Ireland. Excellent. Hello, hello. Welcome to the stream. And we have loads more in here. California, another person from Germany. Oh, there's a lot of German residents tuning in tonight. I guess the timing is pretty nice for Germany, which is great. Same time zone as me. And I'm just going to have some coffee while I collect more thoughts. But yeah, loads of more people coming in and saying where they're from, which is really excellent. I have a bit of a contraption on the table here. You'll see that it's my Panasonic G7, I think, with the Mars receiver on top, or sender on top. And I thought I'd just do a quick little what gear's being used today. So let's do a little quick tour of that. It might be a bit handheld and sketchy, but we'll see how far I can get without dropping this contraption. So, cutting to that shot now, and here we go. Something I forgot to check was audio being out of sync. It's probably a few frames, but I think for this stream it'll be perfectly fine. But anyway, on the table, you can see I have a few bits and pieces here. I'll get to those a bit later, which is fun. But I've just set them on the table here just for now. And then I'm using the ATEM Mini Pro ISO for the stream. That seems to be my kind of go-to these days because it has that streaming built in. There's a few things I wanted to do, and I wanted to use my the ATEM Television Studio HD. I forgot the name. It's been so long since I used it. I plan to use that for some of these streams, but because the Mini Pro just has streaming built in, it's so hard not to just grab it, choose it, and use it for pretty much everything that I do these days. So I wanted to do some other stuff, and maybe in a future stream I could do that. But that's the main brains of most of my streams these days. So going back to the shot, here's something that I showed off in a previous stream where I have, I guess I showed it off a lot before, but it's basically, look at that mess. It's basically a big drawer with a rack and a monitor on top, and it's actually my standing desk in work, which I just stand at, and then I keep some stuff on the inside there, and in theory it was something that I was going to use to do these streams. That was my plan in the first place, but in reality I end up just pulling it apart every single time. So I don't know, maybe in the future I'll rethink how to do it so that it makes sense. But when I roll it in here, because it has wheels, when I roll it in here, I end up wanting to take the ATEM onto the table here, and then that already breaks the nice tidy thing that I have. So it ends up being this lovely mess of cables as I try to get all these feeds in. Something I'm trying a little bit different today is if I show you, I don't know if you can quite see it over there, but if I show you the camera view, I do have a teleprompter set up for the use on this stream. It's a little dark, I know, but I don't want to adjust this camera too much. But on the floor there, you can see the monitor that's powering that teleprompter. And then that is, there's a big mirror in front of the camera up there that's, well, mirroring the signal. So I can look into the lens, and I can just see the lens behind the screen, and I can also see the multi-view. The same thing that's on this big monitor beside me is just duplicated over to that screen, so I can just at a glance see what you can see. The monitor that I'm using doesn't have picture flipping. It's just like a classic computer monitor. Well, maybe it does have that, but I never looked anyway. But what I thought before I started the stream was that I wouldn't bother flipping it, just be confident that it was working just fine. But now I've realized it was totally worth flipping it with a decimeter, because otherwise I would have got very confused about which side was program and preview. But that is a long way to say that's the gear I'm using. The GH5 is over there, and this is the G7. And now, because I want to use this G7 as an overhead shot, I'm going to very carefully place it on a stand that's just out of frame, hoping not to break anything. The camera, the frame, me, as I do this. And let's just hide this cable away as well. There we go. Okay, and now, with not much effort, I have my shaky overhead shot back in action again, which seems to work just fine. So let me see. I see that. Excellent. Everything's working as expected. So that's the gear that I'm using for this stream, and it's kind of the same gear as I tend to use for a lot of these streams, but because I set it up in this studio every time I do a stream, then it feels like different gear every time, because I'm constantly resetting it up and slightly tweaking the odd cable, but it seems to work nicely. So, oh yeah, and someone says this is a nice vMix mouse mat. Very true, it is. I didn't get this myself. I just stole this from someone who was at IBC a couple of years ago. Maybe someday I'll go get one for my own, but I really like it. We use vMix a lot in work, so something I look at constantly. So a couple of things in the, I like to say news as if it's like a very professional thing that I do, but you know, it's just a bit of fun. One of the things that I just released, let me see, I'm looking at my notes that are just off screen down low, if you're wondering where my eyes are gazing to. Yeah, the first thing I was going to chat about was these little, I'm actually wearing one now. Oh, there it is. This little H2R Graphics pin. Now, you probably can't see it in that shot very well, but maybe in the overhead shot, I can show it off a little bit better. But it's just this little pin. Oh, that was good work. I mean, you know what pins are, you know how they work, but you can connect it to, or pin it, as they say, to anything you want. I kind of got these on a random whim, so now I have a bunch of them lying around here. As you can see on the table, I have a few with the collection of H2R Graphics merchandise that I have, stickers and transparent stickers and chroma stickers and these little pins. So I don't think I'll regret this, but if you want one of these, which I think you ought to, then pop into Discord. There's a link underneath all of these videos that I shoot. Pop into Discord and then DM me about it and send me your address, and I can send you one of these. I might include a sticker or two if I have enough of them, but these pins are not going anywhere unless I give them to people. So yeah, in Discord, DM me. You'll find me in there if you're not already in there, and send me your address and I can send you those. Be sure not to send your address in some random channel. That would be a terrible idea, I'm sure. But yeah, ask me about it and I'll send you one of these out. I'll have to limit it at, well, we'll see what I limit it at, but I don't have unlimited of them. So whoever is first come, first served, then DM me. I'm probably not going to send them until maybe early next year, but either way, they're ready to go. I'm already sending these stickers to patrons over on patreon.com/here-to-record. There's a bunch of people who are supporting specifically the project H2R Graphics, which is excellent. But since I have these cool little pins lying around, then I thought some other folks might want them. You don't have to wear it on your t-shirt like I am. I don't think I'll do this every day, but on a backpack, or I put them up on little cork boards or something. They're quite nice, quite fun to have around. That was the first thing, which brings me to the next thing about H2R Graphics. You can just see me through the key there. I launched some new themes for patrons, so if you are a patron of Here to Record, or specifically H2R Graphics, then you can grab these themes over on Patreon. The exec level gets all of them, and the funder or helper level can get one of their choice, which is just fun little themes to add to your if you don't know much about CSS, it's nice to have another theme just to mess around with and go from there. So that's update number 2. And then this is another update. I got my DaVinci Resolve Speed Editor. I don't have much of an opinion on it just yet because I took it out of the box, played with it for a second, took this photo, and then I put it back in the box again because I had a bunch of other things to do on the weekend, so I didn't really get a chance to play too much with it. But it feels good. I'll edit my first video with it this week, and I don't know if I'll make a review video about this particular product because I don't know if it fits really nicely into this channel. Of course, many of us are recorders and then editors, but I'm not sure. If you want to see that, I can make one, or maybe I'll just make like a little quick video about it. But I'm more interested in giving it a go and seeing how well it works, because I think that will be pretty fun just to try out. So that's that one. And then the final update, full of updates today. If you saw the other day, I made this video with a buddy of mine, Bart, who I've worked with and talked about on this channel many a time. And I wanted him to appear in one of my upcoming videos. And since both of us had an ATEM streaming bridge, and since both of us had a ATEM Mini Pro ISO, we were able to sort of connect to each other. So he sends me a signal and I send him a signal, and he recorded his side and I recorded my side, and then later I'm just going to edit that into a video. What I wanted to show real quickly, if I can find my mouse, I just wanted to show a little breakdown of how that worked out, because it's surprisingly, once I connected everything up, I mean, it wasn't terribly complicated, but I realized fast enough that it wasn't the easiest thing in terms of audio, because you can't hear what maybe you can't hear what you're sending to them, and then they have to kind of tell you what you're getting. And yeah, it was an interesting one. So here's a little H2R gear breakdown of kind of what we had, which is basically identical setup. So if I draw a line sort of down the middle of this plan here, all of my gears on the left and all of his was on the right, and you can see that I had a ATEM Mini Pro ISO and he had one as well. We both had a streaming bridge connected to those. We both had a camera connected. We both had a mic connected, and the only difference was that I wanted to record all in the one device. I wanted to use it all for basically everything. So what I did was HDMI out of the streaming bridge went into my ATEM so I could see him. But I also SDI'd out of the ATEM streaming bridge so I could do a recording on my video assist, which is down here. That worked really nicely. And then I was sending him a signal through my ATEM, and he was receiving it on his end through the streaming bridge and into his ATEM Mini Pro ISO. So it was quite funny to see two people with almost identical setups kind of doing the same thing, sending it back and forth to each other. So it was quite nice. I hope to edit that video pretty soon. It's going to be a part of an ongoing series that I'm making at the minute called, I don't know if you ever watched a video that I shot like 2 years ago called How They Operate, which was going to be a series of videos about how certain places, venues, people operate in their productions. But what I decided recently was to change that a little bit and make it how they operate remotely, because of these current remote times. So he'll be the first episode or episode number 2 of that sort of new revamp of the series, and then I plan to make some more. So if you are specifically doing events remotely, in his case he was actually sort of playing out / live streaming a conference that happened in Australia, but everything was kind of pre-recorded or live over Skype and things. So if you do something like that, if you shoot events remotely from your house, in his case from his office, then get in touch with me through email or through Discord, and I'd love to have you on and chat about the gear you used and show a breakdown on something like this, and we can explain to people what you did and how you did it, and how everything fits together, because I think it really helps for other people to see how this stuff breaks down and what kind of features and things you can do, all from an office or from, I don't know, from your living room or who knows what. So I think that's pretty cool. I am going to quickly reset the mess that I just made there, which was taking my Chrome off air. So, this is what the fun of doing it live, back on air again. Great. So that's a look at a look at the news, as I like to say. I've been talking already for 15 minutes, so that's a lot longer than I thought it would take. And that video will come out early next year of Bart's breakdown of gear and stuff like that. So let's grab a few questions that have popped in. I see a few things up on the screen. Let's see what we got there. I think Aaron asked me a question specifically about that setup. Did you use the Streaming Bridge connection to actually have the conversation, or were you also on Zoom, Skype, phone? No, interestingly enough, we did use the Streaming Bridge by itself to have the call back and forth. So he was receiving me at a delay and I was receiving him at a delay. We never timed it, we never checked what it was, but it was of course a couple of seconds to do the whole round trip. I guess a couple more seconds for it to come all the way back again. So I personally, when it started, it was weird. I've only really talked to Bart in person for the last few years. We've done conferences together. So it was odd, but I guess from doing so much Zoom calls, Skype calls, Google Meet calls over the last few months, even though that's almost real time, very close to real time, I've gotten much more used to letting the conversation go a little bit slower, because it's really easy to talk over people when there's 300, 500, 600 millisecond delay. Never mind 3-4 seconds. So I've already somewhat reprogrammed to take my time and wait for answers. It didn't really matter that much. Now, since I'm going to edit this video pretty heavily, it doesn't matter. In this case, it was just meant for really good audio and video going both ways. So that was the main reason, and it made the whole setup less complicated. If we were to do that live and on this live stream, for example, then I don't know if it would have worked quite as nicely. Although I do want to do more tests on live to see what chats are like, and I have watched Aaron's videos and about that kind of stuff, and they've used him and Photo Joseph have used other tools to talk in real time, and then the ATEM Streaming Bridge to talk or to get the good quality video. But I don't know, if you get used to it, within a few minutes you get used to talking slowly and waiting and stuff, so it didn't really matter that much. Maybe for the audience it would be a bit slow, so we'll see. I'll do more tests on that kind of stuff. And let's see, I did see some stuff about the speed editor. I guess that was a quick video would be awesome on the speed editor. Yeah, I think a quick video would work just fine. A quick video, re the speed editor, and a long video, re the Streaming Bridge test you did would be great. Yeah, exactly. I think the speed editor, it'd be fun to make a quick video, but I think that there are many other pros in terms of resolve out there that would do a much better video than I could ever imagine. Up until less than a year ago, maybe more than a year ago, I was using Final Cut for everything, so it's still, Resolve is still a little bit newish to me, so I'm still getting a hang of it. I just really got deep into the cut page the other day, so or a couple of weeks ago. So I don't know if I would be the best person to make the ultimate video on the speed editor, but I'll still make one. And let me see now. This is a good question, Mateus. Nice to have you watching along. Since it's Christmas, if you could wish for anything streaming device related, existing or not invented yet, what would it be? Oh, that's a hard one. I wish I had a little more time to think up a good answer for that, because I'm sure if I had a little more time, I could think of something inventive. But I was thinking about a product today that it'd probably be really complicated to make, but for streams like this, that's, you know how on like Zoom or something you're talking and it tells you your mic is muted? If I could make a device that listens for problems from YouTube, like your stream quality is bad or that's not working, it pipes that in, and it also pipes in like you're talking but the stream doesn't hear any audio. I could think of a lot of cases, both here or professionally, that would come in really handy. So that sounds like a really boring answer, but I think something that really just collects all of the issues that might happen with a stream. It could be a hardware device or a software service, and then a little bit like Aaron's Hue lights, it could light up a light to say, people are complaining about the audio on your stream, or something like that. I know some of those things I could do already with like the live chat integration with H2R Graphics, but an all around like, here's all of the issues in your stream right now, you should probably fix them. That would be really nice to see fast. I know there's been a few times where you forget to unmute a microphone and you talk for a few minutes. So just to see a light ping over here to say, you're talking but it's not working, would be really good. I don't know if that was the best answer, but that would be cool. And obviously, I would love to see more ATEMs with streaming built in. Yeah, and maybe I can come back to you with more answers on that for the next time. But that was a good question. I appreciate that. Here's a question from Graham. Just add some beat. Oh, it's not a question. Sorry, he's just he's talking about some conversation. Never mind. Yeah. Jonas says, so you want a health dashboard that also uses some algorithm to detect problems? Yeah, that's what I want. In a hardware box, maybe, so that you can have a physical box sitting beside you that really catches your attention. Because the problems, it's great to have, for example, I have the live chat open on 2 locations actually on this laptop down here that you can't see. But if everyone's, for the next 60 seconds while I tell a story, tells me my audio doesn't work anymore, I won't look at that for another minute, 2 minutes, who knows. So I really just need something to catch my eye. But I think it's possible. Maybe it's something we can work together as a community on building. I've always wanted to make like a hardware device of some sort. So that could be a project. It'd be fun. Maybe it already exists. I don't know. We'll find out. Has the desk, excuse my audio, has the desk been painted by Aaron? I guess you mean this desk here. Yeah, it's a little off-white, isn't it? Aaron's color choices are not right for this one, so I haven't quite gotten all in on the white like he has. Not yet, anyway. It seems like a lot of work. So I don't know if I would manage. I'll just let him do it. That's perfectly fine. Let me see. And here's an idea from Jonas. And then add it. I guess this is a follow-on from my invention, as it were. Oh yeah, it went away again. And then I could add these problems to H2R gear diagram, and it finds common causes for the problems. Yeah, that's a good idea. It all integrates together, all of these wonderful ideas. That'll be really good. If you have any specific questions about H2R gear, which I showed off in the last live stream, actually. And since then, it's been beta tested, or it continues to be beta tested by plenty of very, very kind folks. I really appreciate that, and I've been updating it constantly with changes and with new ideas and with important improvements. So for now, I'm not asking for too many more people in the beta, but if you really want to grab it, then let me know on Discord. But I really want to get it out there working better, so if you are interested, let me know. Otherwise, if you have any questions specifically for H2R gear, maybe you should ask, if you don't mind asking me them off stream, just so I don't end up talking about something that most people can't yet grab. But I do see a few questions popping in about that, which is excellent. I'm really happy people are interested. Maybe at the end I can get to those questions if that's all right. Otherwise, just send me a DM about it. So, like I said, I wanted to talk or grab a few products today. I've got one here. But what I will not do, it turns out, is talk about them in too much detail today. Not only because I want to make full videos about them, but also I want to know the product better before I make full videos about them. And since I'm only really like getting started with these, then I'd rather not make too much content about them just yet. But the first one on the list is the Yolobox. Now this is something Aaron, I know, is taking a look at in his channel, which is excellent, and I know he's making plenty of videos about it. And I got one to take a look at as well. Let's just take this box out of the way. And really, for now, I guess all I can really talk about for now is first impressions, because, like I said, I'm only getting started. First impression number one, and maybe you can't see it on this screen here, but this screen, there it is. This screen catches every fingerprint that I could possibly throw at it. I'm just going to give it a little clean off screen here. Yeah, looks better. But my first impression really is not the screen catching fingerprints. I'm quite happy to see how well this thing has been built. It feels pretty rock solid, actually. From videos, I guess you can't really tell like how well something is built. It's quite hard to tell. But since it's like an all-in-one device, I would really prefer it to be feeling good and feeling rock solid. So that's the first thing I noticed about it, and the first note I made when I opened it was like, wow, this actually feels like pretty spot on, which is nice. I don't have it connected to the internet just now, but that would be my immediate first impression of it. Now, I mean, if you haven't watched videos about this yet, you can see a couple of HDMI inputs, USB, HDMI output as well. You can connect to obviously wired internet, which would be for the best, and then audio in and USB-C for keeping it alive. And then what else do we have? SD card, SIM card, power button, which turns it on and off, and audio output, so you can listen back to what's happening there. I would love to know if there's any specific questions about this that good old Aaron has not already covered on his excellent videos about it. But because I will definitely make videos about this, and the reason, like I said, this is not a full breakdown of it is because before I make that full breakdown, you will see me do a live stream from this device to really see what it's like. Because I definitely before have made the mistake of not properly testing stuff before I make videos about it, and then realizing stuff and realizing that you can't really change a video, obviously, and making a follow-up video kind of misses the point as well. So I really like to get to know devices more and more. Often, and not the case for this one, but often whenever a company says they want to send me the device and keep it for 30 days and make a video and send it back, I tend to say no to that because I want to keep it for like 3 months or more and really get to know it. Try it for some sort of personal gig like this, or I don't know, just bring it to like a professional gig, but not use it exclusively, just have it on the side and see how well it works. So in this case, I really want to do a stream from it, basically. So after I make that stream about this device, then you'll see much more content on it for sure. So I hope I didn't entice you into this live stream as though it was a full breakdown of this product, but I'm sure you understand that the more time I play with it and test it out, the better, because I really realize how important that is. Just take some water. And if you have any questions about it specifically, I would like to see those in the chat, and then I can follow up and include those in the video, which would be really nice. I don't want to say that's my full look at the Yolobox, but it might be for this particular video. And I do see some more things pop up in the chat, which is really nice. Yeah, this this is a follow-up to my awesome invention. Take Aaron's map code and change in search words to include specific things like audio problem or like, yeah, that's what I already intended to do with H2R Graphics, in fact. And I kind of do it already, where I just filter by mentions of accounts, but I want to kind of add a trending topics, or it wouldn't be called that, but some sort of like, here's what a bunch of people are saying right now, so you can see that pop up. I think that the only issue is it still exists on a screen, so then I would have to set up another, output from that to then talk to another device to tell me, here's a problem, warning, warning. So, but any ideas are good, because it's just something I just said there. So who knows? It might be a great idea after it gets workshopped a little during this live stream. Here's a question. Leaders Media, what tools have you found most helpful for producing virtual events and bringing in multiple live presenters and their slides remotely? I think I mentioned, as you can see by this lovely mouse mat, we use vMix a lot in our professional streams, and 9 times out of 10, vMix call works really well for most circumstances. There hasn't been many times where we've had an issue. It's just the odd firewall issue, I guess, on the odd presenter side where it stops us being able to use vMix call. But that's been our main go-to. And then in that case, they just say next slide whenever they want next slide. I've seen all sorts of I've worked with a bunch of different companies over the last year on a bunch of different events, and they've used a bunch of different tools, from Zoom to virtual clickers to all that stuff. And it all seems to work really well, and the markets are all working really hard on making those devices and services and software better and better. But something like vMix Call, that's been through a lot and seems to get used an awful lot these days, is something we go to immediately, because vMix is already what we're running the production through. So it makes sense to already just add another vMix Call into that. But we have been using Zoom and Microsoft Teams for a few bits and pieces recently as well. Just depends on what the client maybe has an account for, or their users already are used to. So those two have been working really well as well. They all have their weird issues, but in general, vMix Call has been the go-to. We never really needed that much. We never really needed like a PowerPoint solution. We've always just kind of stuck with next slide please, and it works really nicely, because then you get to control things a little bit better, and you don't find the person is racing through slides or trying to learn how to use a virtual clicker. I was in an event where they did use that virtual browser clicker, and it did take a little bit of time to get the person on the other end used to what they were supposed to go to, what link, how does it work, and things like that. So with the right amount of time and training, that works fine, but just saying next slide, working really nicely too. Here's a question from Lloyd. Why does Aaron's name appear blue with a fancy wrench? And he loves Aaron's channel. Aaron is very kindly an admin of this here chat. So if anybody says anything, I don't know, someone says something that they shouldn't, then Aaron's moderator, that's the word. So he was nice enough to be a moderator. I'm a moderator on his live chat as well, but I never seem to be able to watch his shows live because Sunday night I am always doing something else, and I always watch the next day. So not a very useful moderator, I will tell you that. But Aaron's nice enough to pop in here and moderate. Hopefully he doesn't have to do too much of that because it seems like a very nice bunch of people. Let me see. I'm just flicking on through. Stephen says that the Yolobox is a viable alternative to. Oh yeah, sorry. Stephen asks, or is it Stefan? I think it's Stephen. Asks, is the Yolobox a viable alternative to the H2R Mini? That is something I can talk about in the video. So I'll keep a hold of that question. Obviously, it has less inputs and very different features, so it's a very hard comparison, I think. But I'll talk about that a little bit more. For my case, because graphics are built into it, and because I use 2 cameras, then I think for me that would actually work quite well as a viable alternative. I don't do too much switching on here, so maybe it'll work for me. And Joel says, if you're interested, the Yolobox actually has an Android debug service open and running. I think there's quite a bit. I am interested in that, actually. If I get some time to play with that kind of stuff, I'm interested in checking that out. So I appreciate it. And I'm just flicking on through the questions. Joe wants to know, can you get your hands on the Atomos Sumo? Oh, that would be cool. Or the Shogun to review the switching. That would be really cool to have, actually. The only thing I have is the Ninja 5, which I got the SDI module for recently, which works really well, I must say. I'm really happy with that. But I would love to try out the Sumo. I've only really seen it once in real life, and it is an impressive screen. Bart, who I mentioned before, he has a Shogun, and I think he's tried out the editing in that. But I must ask him some more about that to see how well it works. Here's a question. I think this is about H2R gear. So, but that is something I wanted to add, like a color key, so you can see what kind of cables I'm using. Good question, definitely. Flicking on down. More questions are coming in, which is really cool. But maybe, just maybe, I'll get my other device out for the day, which is a little bit heavier. Okay, it's not that heavy. And this is a little bit similar of a situation as a Yolobox. I'm getting, companies are nice to send me this stuff, and I want to make videos about it faster. This is the Pearl Mini, not the new Nano, but this is the Mini, the previous, not iteration, but the previous one of the products from Epiphan. I've had the Webcaster in the past before, which I quite liked, but maybe that's one of those products where I made videos about it, I liked it, I used it more and more, and you started to see how much more work a product like that might need to be really, really viable. And then the H2R Mini comes along and makes it very difficult to ever convince yourself of getting a product like that again. But this here is the Pearl Mini, which is sort of a, you could say, an all-in-one device. I mean, these devices are all quite similar in certain ways and their own slant in different ways. You can see a reflection of the roof right there. It's lovely. But it does have a lot of nice goodies on the back. You can see them there. Let me focus up a little bit better if I can. Lovely. Things like power, USB, HDMI out, network connection, SDI, HDMI A and B, and then you've got audio inputs. And classically, these kind of devices are not unlike the product that I looked at recently, which was the Matrox Monarch LCS, which is kind of made to sit in a lecture theater or a certain building or maybe a meeting room in a company and just do its job. it should be working well. And I think what differs this product from the other product is that this one I would consider something a little more approachable than the other one. I have the power cable here somewhere, if I can dig it out from all of the stuff and power this on. There we go. You can see me in the reflection there. But you might, just like the Matrox, you really don't want to, let's give this a little wash while I chat about it. Another fingerprint magnet, this device. Just like the Matrox, that should sit and do its job. But in this case, it has a nice big screen on the front, which I said in that video, I like the H2R Mini because it makes you want to come over and press it and use it. In this case, it's kind of the same. Now, it depends what kind of building you have or what kind of people are in that building. You might not want them to come over and mess with it. But if you're in an office or some sort of environment like that where maybe it's a lecturer giving a lecture and they have two inputs, a camera and their slides, and they can come in here and change between them, which is really nice. So I like in this case that it has very few options that you can play with. Big buttons, easy to use. Seems like so far from my testing around that the screen works quite well. That's with these touchscreen devices, it's always something that makes me super nervous. Does the screen do what you want it to do? Now, I've just turned this on and everything seems to be working just fine, but will it still work exactly the way you want it to work later? And will a press be a press, or will you have to double press? When you're doing things like live streaming, and especially for like professional events, you really want to be certain what's going to happen when you press that button on a touch screen. Will it do what you want it to do? And I want to be very sure when I'm using these kind of devices that I can trust the screen completely. One of my small gripes with the Webcaster before was that because you had to use an external keyboard and mouse, and then you wanted to travel light because it was such a small device, so traveling light with it made sense. So I got a small keyboard, and that didn't really work that well, so then I needed to use a big keyboard. So input on these devices is just as important. That's why the H2R Mini, the way it is, big buttons that you can press and they work every time you press them, is just so important. So trusting a touch screen is very important. And it seems from my playing around, I did play a little bit before this stream today, and I'm familiar with the device, but so far I'm pretty happy with how responsive it is. That doesn't really give you a full breakdown of the service and of how it works and all that good stuff, but over time, whenever I get to do a stream where I include this, or make videos where I include this, I'll be much more confident to say how well it works. And I mean, if it works at all, it should do, of course, but I need that time to just play with it a bit more and make sure what I'm saying makes sense. Probably makes more sense than my rambling on this stream so far, but who knows? I'll make videos about this for sure. If you have any specific questions about this device, how you might want to use it, or if you're thinking about buying it for a certain use case, those are the kind of things I'm really interested in. Whenever I get new devices for review, I just think about who would use this and why would they want to use this instead of another device. So use cases are really all that matter for me when it comes to these. Would I buy this and why would I need it? So, and I see, and this is the Epiphan, except for the Webcaster, the prices are up there. Maybe they're not in the same ballpark as like the H2R Minis and those kind of things of the world, but I do think they're made for a different audience, and they need to be built for a different audience. Does that always justify a much higher price tag? Maybe not. Maybe with playing with this, I'll see it does or it doesn't. We'll see in the future. But for now, I'm quite happy with again, how well it's made, and that's the first impression that I can only get from most devices is, does it feel good to hold? Does it feel like it's solidly constructed and it's not going to fall apart? And this one looks, I think it looks really nice. I think it looks, it's not so industrial as other devices. It sort of sits nicely on your table, and I can see this. I have seen this in people's offices and their meeting rooms and things like that, and other versions of this sitting there, and it doesn't take much to learn how to use it. So that's one of the reasons I said I would like to take a look at it, because I know that there's plenty of places where maybe someone asks you to kit out their meeting rooms with gear. I mean, as much as you might want to give them an A10 Mini or A10 Mini Pro, it just doesn't work for their kind of audience. They have to teach them how to use that. Instead, they're willing to pay more money to get a device that just sits there and has 3 options. Full screen that, or picture-in-picture maybe. So there are space for devices like this, even if we might see them and say, wow, that's expensive. But relatively speaking, yeah, it is expensive to the A10 Mini Pro. But for the right target market, maybe it makes sense. Wow, that was a long way of saying I'm not making a video about this yet, but I will, definitely. And I see some chat about 4,300 euros for their captioning device. I think I saw that in here somewhere. Yeah, which is absolutely right. They Epiphan have a live script, I think it's called, where you put in audio during a live event and it sort of spits out, let's say, on the screen it shows AI-powered captions, and then there's, I think there's a web interface that you can get those captions and show them on your video. I haven't looked at that one specifically because I did see that it costs plenty for the device, and then you have to pay, of course, for the AI service on top of that. But that is another of their devices, and I don't know if that's the exact price, but something I'll double check later, I'm sure. But yeah, again, it's a high price tag for sure. There's no denying that. But sometimes a certain customer wants a certain thing and they're willing to pay for that. Maybe you can pass that price on to them. Who knows? Maybe it makes sense, or maybe it doesn't make any sense to pay that much money for a single purpose item. Maybe I'll look at that again, or I'll look at that specifically in the future, that product. But I know it's not something that I currently need, so it's hard to find the use cases for it. And these days, with not so many live events, it's hard to find use case for something that's built, I would say, for specifically live events. I'm hoping I'm not missing any specific questions that pop up. I see lots of chatter, which is really nice. I also saw someone just joined Patreon, which is excellent. If you're watching this stream, I can't quite see the name on the email there, but if you are, that's really great. I appreciate it a lot. And if you want to support the channel or the H2R Graphics in general, Patreon is the way to do that right now. And you get some stickers if you sign up for the higher level account. And then, like I said, I have these little pins that I want to send out to some people. So support the channel, it's great. On that note, I actually want to do more, like, I really like stickers. I really like things that have logos on them, and I really want to do some more like merchandise, I guess. Mugs would be nice. Instead of this Back to the Future one, I could have a different one. Or t-shirts, something I've always wanted to make. I like this I'm Here to Record t-shirt that I wear, well, I used to wear at events. So if it's something that interests you, you want to see some merch, I'd really like to make some of that. I can't give away cups and t-shirts for free, but if you're interested, I am super on board, and I would love to have loads of people with I'm Here to Record on their t-shirt, especially since there's loads of people that are part of the I'm Here to Record Discord server and lots of really nice supporters of this channel. It might be something you're interested in, and we can set that up. So if you're interested in more merch, maybe even I'm Here to Record mouse pads, that'll be fun. I'll have to replace my vMix one. But yeah, if you're interested in that, let me know. Discord seems to be the place to chat about all these things. It's always listed below all these videos. And what I found recently, when I started the Discord, it was just a few people and we were chatting about the odd thing. But what I've really been impressed with in the last, maybe even the last few months only, is how much it's grown in terms of numbers, but also in terms of chat back and forth and helpful information. And I was DMing with someone the other day on the Discord, and they said they had this really great setup from their gig, and they said that because they were part of the I'm Here to Record Discord, they learned so much stuff that they could add to their equipment, little hacks, little cheats, little ideas that made their whole stream so much better. And that's like a professional gig, so it's really nice to see loads more people come in giving information. I'm adding more channels based on what kind of stuff people want to talk about. And it's been super fun, especially like I said, over the last few months, where not only has the numbers went up, but also the back and forth and the information has gotten better and better. And I was nervous at the start of creating a chat app. Well, I didn't create the app, but creating a Discord server. I was nervous that it would just be a bunch of chat, and then a month later would be the same conversations, and then 2 months later, same conversations, you know, because that's the, shall we say, con of Discord. It's just a big chat. So you don't really get to find things that easily. But that's a long story again, just to say how appreciative I am of anyone who pops in there, helps people out. And it's been a really nice community as well. We haven't had any bad eggs, I was going to say, pop in and be unhelpful. It's been a bunch of helpful people, which is nice. Speaking of helpful people, I've seen the chat go by faster than I can keep up with it, which is really nice. The Pearl Mini is 3,700 euros, so about 300. Yeah, so it's not a cheap device, like I said, but it's we'll get to it in the video. I don't know. I'm not ready to say too much yet. Here is a question. Let's see. Yeah. My screen is so small and far away. Usually I'm able to read these questions a lot easier, but yeah, the Pearl Nano, that's the one that just came out, and it costs $1,500 ish, which is something I want to look at in the future a bit more. But I wanted to kick things off with the Mini, since it's a slightly older product, and I wanted to try it out and see what I felt about it, and then hopefully I can ask them to send over the Nano. Oh yeah, the Nano. This is just on loan for a little while I can make some videos about it, which is great. Joe says, yes, that's good. T-shirts and mouse pads would be great. Okay. One person says yes so far. So if I get more of those, then more yeses, then I'll be really happy to see that. Have you tried, here's a good question from Jonas, have you tried H2R Graphics on a Raspberry Pi yet? The answer, unfortunately, is no. I have a Raspberry Pi, a brand new Raspberry Pi, sitting at home in its box for 2 weeks now, where I've been trying to get some time to get it out of the box and try H2R Graphics on it. So that will be my holiday project. I'm not going to make any promises to that, but my best intentions are spending this holiday season messing around with the companion on the Raspberry Pi, and also with H2R Graphics on the Raspberry Pi. I hope that they work without much effort, because it's been a long time since I've done anything on the Raspberry Pi, so I've totally forgotten how to do all that stuff. And if they take a lot of effort, then maybe that holiday project will drag on into the new year. But I'm hoping that it's not too much work. Jonas says +1 for the merch. Great. Send me ideas if you have any ideas in Discord for merch things. I really want to make some stuff. I've always been super into, I have a good reason to make merch, and that's why I ended up going all in on H2R Graphics stuff. And I think I see, if I'm not mistaken, some people already joining the Discord server, which is really great, just to ask questions and get in there and yeah, I see in general there's already a bunch of people that popped in, perhaps during this actual call. You get so used to being on calls all the time during this live stream. So if you've got more people who are not in there, jump in. It's really great. And Doug from DJP, Doug Johnson Productions, which I'm sure you'd already subscribed to on YouTube and saw his video in the last day, maybe, about his Discord server, which is just getting started. It reminds me of where mine was at whenever things started. You're trying to find channels and create a structure. But I'm really impressed to see all the people that's ran in there already and talking about all sorts of gear and really professional chats with a bunch of real pros. So if you want to join that, do. Doug DJP video, I think, on YouTube, or Doug Johnson Productions, and you can jump in there and join that Discord as well for a whole lots of different chats about all sorts of different stuff. Here's someone just joining now. Hello all, nice to have you here. I'm just probably going to wrap up pretty soon. A coffee mug may also be fine. Yeah, I think a coffee mug would be great. Something, I don't want to just like slap a big, that's what I've been against, is slapping like a big here to record logo on things. It's never really felt right. It's always nice to wait a bit longer and come up with a different idea, because I don't want to, I don't know, make it and regret it. Boris says, add me to the merch too. Excellent. I know it's not going to be free merch, so, but I'm not going to make any money on it, I would imagine, either. It's not going to be a life changer for me, but it'll be fun to have a bunch of stuff out there. Stickers, says Dave, which is great. Yeah, Joe, this is what I'm trying to avoid. Add a H2R logo to that water bottle. Yeah, I guess I could do that myself, couldn't I? I could manually buy hundreds of these and put the stickers on myself, and then there you go, you got yourself a branded bottle. Perfect. H2R Graphics logo would be great. Ryan, I see you've asked this. What QR-based inventory asset tags are you using? I see you have one in your ATEM Mini, and you haven't before. That's very keen-eyed, Ryan, there. This little QR code up here is, yes, an asset manager. Something that we're trying out in work. It's called, I'm okay to talk about it, but we haven't really went too deep into it yet, is Rentman, it's called. I really don't like the name, but it's called Rentman. And you can add all your inventory and gear and all that stuff, and then you spit out QR codes, and you can put those on your devices, and then you can scan them all whenever you're packing for a gig. But that is also something I intend to add to H2R gear someday. And I know it's already in, I believe anyway, it can correct me if I'm wrong, but Doug already has that in his Crew Access product. So this is just something we're trying out in the office to see how well it works. But I don't know if I'll make a video about that specifically, because I'm keen on doing it in something of my own, or over time trying to see if I can use an asset management tracker in a way. But if we really like this and I make a video about it, then you'll see that on the channel here. But thanks for the question either way. Good evening, sorry to be late. Oh, you're way too late, way too late. Things are starting to wrap up. Now this is a good one. I organize my kit using H2R gear. That's a good one. I should get that on a cup or on a t-shirt or something. That's a really good idea. And you should add the animated logo option in H2R Graphics. That's a good question, or that's a good point. This is a little teaser. I'm not going to show anything yet, but early in the new year, I will be making, well, okay, I've already promised early in the new year now, haven't I? No, but early in the new year, whenever H2R gear is evolving and able to be released, I will be making H2R Graphics version 2, which will be considerably different from the current version. And for that reason, I'm not really going to add too many more features yet to H2R Graphics. Now, that doesn't mean that that's going to change, and I'm still exploring some options right now, but I'm really excited about the new version that will come out hopefully early-ish next year, but who knows. But I'm really excited about that. So that's why I'm not going to add too many new features to the current version. I'll just fix issues as they pop up and anything that people really, really want to see. Like I said, I'm not ready to show anything yet because I'm still trying to figure out some things. And if it doesn't work the way I want it to work, then I'm just going to keep with the current version and keep making it better until it works the way I want it to work. So time frame is a little bit sketchy, but I think most people will really like the new take on H2R Graphics. And if you really want to know details about that, Discord is the place to be, and I'll announce whenever I have something in the H2R Graphics channel in there. Okay, just wrapping up some bits and pieces. George. Oh, George is from Epiphan, which is nice. Thanks for tuning in. That was fun, John. When we... Oh, I went away too fast there. We send you a Pearl Nano. We'll be sure to throw in some swag. Yeah, I didn't get any swag. Next time, I look forward to that. I'm all about swag. No, thanks for watching, tuning in, George. Let's see. But here's a few final things. That is a good idea. Thank you for the reminder. You know, I always wanted to ask you how to pronounce your name. Is it like Ek? You can correct me on Discord. I know we chat all the time. But now's the time to press thumbs up for this video. If you have enjoyed it, I do appreciate that. Subscribing if you haven't already, but I imagine that you already do by watching this live stream. Hitting a thumbs up is really nice too. And I really would love to do a live stream as often as someone like Aaron. Excellent to do it every week, but I really cannot find the time to set up all this stuff, make a live stream, put it all away again. Until someday that I have a very fixed location, I'm going to try to continue to do the monthly, and on a Monday, maybe like the last Monday of the month, but that will also change. So if you want to stay up to date on that, Discord is the place to do it. I didn't think I would rely so heavily on Discord for announcements, but here we are. So if you want to see more live streams from me, I really want to make more, but I'm already struggling to make one a month plus other videos. So I'll make more. So that's been H2R Live for the month of December. Thank you so much for watching. I do really appreciate it. Appreciate all the subscribers. We hit 20K not that long ago, which is excellent. And I'm hoping that the channel can continue to grow next year. I might not post much more videos for the rest of this year, but we'll see. But I hope that everyone has a nice holiday season, whatever way you like to celebrate it. I personally like to just switch off computer as much as I can, but that never really works out. Enjoy holiday times, then enjoy my birthday, which is ironically the same, maybe not ironically, but coincidentally the same day as Aaron Parecki's birthday. We share a birthday next Monday. So if you do want to wish me a happy birthday, you can do that on good old Discord, the 28th of December. Otherwise, I'll be working on things that I promised, which was making H2R gear even better, working a little bit more on H2R graphics, and the third thing that I promised was comments. Sorry if I missed any comments, but I'll try to get back to you when I can. And that's it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. All the best. Bye-bye.